Week 7 is here, and it's time to get into our DraftKings and Fanduel takes for the Week 7 DFS slate. We're going to quickly recap Week 6. Myself and Jordan Vanek, our resident Carolina Panthers fan, and we're going to celebrate. I don't know. The Carolina Panthers are happily winning games, but maybe not so happily. Rico Dowdle is burying us every single week. We're going to talk about the return of Rashee Rice. The Cowboys are the Coors Field of Week 7 for sure, but of every single slate. And what do we do with a pretty gross slate? Whether we got all the stuff in Week 7. We're going to get into it right now. Yeah, Jordan, we were talking very quickly beforehand. First, Rico Dowdle, as you alluded to in our private message, was basically knocking out your internet at your house, and my internet was knocked out. I've been scrambling right before this as we go live, so we're a couple minutes late. Sorry to the live viewers, but welcome. Hit that like button on your way in. Shout out to Together Over Me, not even playing DFS, but still enjoys the show. That's the good stuff. That's what we do it for. I mean, I guess we do it for the people who play DFS too, but hopefully you're enjoying the show. Quickly, let's recap a little bit of Week 6 because I'm excited for this overall show kind of moving forward, because we talked last week about how it's easy even on a Thursday to like have some take some like, right, you open up the slate, you do your initial research and all that kind of stuff, and then you get to Sunday and like everything has changed. You move off of the stuff that you liked, you hate yourself for it, and you're mad the next week. I kind of feel like I did that a little bit last week, where I couldn't quite get the stuff I wanted to work, and then I sort of fell in love with some new things over the course of the week, and I was a little bit more on the fence about Rico Dowdle and George Pickens specifically, both of those two in that game. I was like on the fence, but kind of leaning towards just suck it up. It's the Cowboys game. It's the Panthers, right? And then over the course of the weekend, I kind of talked myself into some other stuff, and that didn't go very well. The Rams, my God, what was that? And so I feel like Week 6, there's some things we can learn from, not just from like what happened in the NFL, but probably from some of the moves that we made, like the combination of what's happening in the NFL plus some of the things we did with our DFS teams.
Yeah, the Rodgers and DK Metcalf concept that I had, I don't know if you saw the underthrow for a touchdown that he had.
Yes, I did.
If that is completed, if that one play is completed, Rodgers has 280-3, and DK Metcalf has 140-2. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, this is sick. I'm watching the play live, like, oh, this could happen. I'm gonna feel great. And then I'm looking at the Panthers game, and any running back that would have played for the Panthers that week could have ran for 200. Rico obviously made some good cuts, different things. That situation, this going forward is going to be fun, because as a Panthers fan, I'm happy Rico Dowdle is really good at football, because I want players who can do stuff on the football field. I'm really happy our offensive line, whatever it is remarkable. I think it's a interesting case study for Cade Mays at center, just from a particular, as a Panthers fan, Austin Corbett started the year last year with Bryce Young. Austin Corbett got hurt during the benched weeks of Bryce, and Cade Mays came in, and then Bryce Young had this good run to end the season. This year, Austin Corbett starts the year at center. He goes down against the Patriots, and all of a sudden Bryce Young is playing competent football, and the Panthers are running the ball with excellence. He's jump-started that, our rushing attack, and going forward, that's an interesting one. And then obviously the Cowboys, if any team plays single high coverage against Dallas, good luck. That's just not it. He's unguardable, and he was it felt like he feels like an NFL street player. That is what he is as a football player. I don't know, when he mossed JC Horn on a crosser that JC Horn almost tipped out of his hands. Mm-hmm. He's holding the ball upside. I don't even know what he's doing, but George Pickens is electric. I love watching him play. And it's also cool that like he's on a team that's like, yeah, we're going to throw him to at least 8-9 times a game. Like week 1, they didn't do it enough, but Quinion was shadowing him. So let's go attack Adoree Jackson with CeeDee Lamb. That's probably way easier.
Seems good, yeah.
And no, this weekend Dallas, I mean, they're definitely the starting point of the entire slate because that game should be just points galore.
Yep. You nailed it. I think there's the Cowboys stuff. As we get into some of these slates, last week was one of them as well, where there's only 10 games. There's not like any like major standout kind of value or anything. Like I know, someone would say, well, Rico Dowdle at 5,800 was pretty good value. And I'm not arguing that. He was playing the Cowboys. That was part of the perk. There's just like not a lot of the game we're playing now is so different from like the first month of the season, where it was like even like $4,200 Rico Dowdle, $5,400 Jordan Mason, just like all these plays that are, and Bright Puka was in the 7K range, like Jonathan Taylor was, week 1 was like 6,500 or something like that, like it's just, we're playing we have so much information. So we have a little bit better idea of what these guys should be priced at. And then we just don't, we have injuries and stuff, but it's not like, oh my gosh, look, so-and-so is out. There's this $3,600 wide receiver that you just like have to play. It's more like, is George Pickens worth 6,800 without CeeDee Lamb type injury stuff, as opposed to like, oh, slam dunk value because this other guy is out. And so segueing into week 7, I think that I would call 2 starting points, and because it is a week 10 a 10 game slate, and Dallas is on it, and Dallas is on it against a good offense, and then we have the return of Rashee Rice. And so you have these 2 things that stand out so far above the rest. Like this isn't just like any 10 game slate. This is gross.
It's tough.
This is really disgusting. I'm not sure there's another game on the slate where you're like, oh yeah, I really want to like stack that. You know what I mean? And so how do we think about the slate when you open it up and like, I don't know, the second best game is Colts Chargers? Probably like the only other game where you're like, yeah, I could see this one going crazy. Like Titans, Patriots, Jets, and your Panthers. Like, but Jets, I mean, Jets, especially without Garrett Wilson, my gosh.
Saints, Bears.
Saints, Bears.
That sounds so crazy.
Right. It's like Saints, Bears is the 3rd best game, and they're supposed to have 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
And like we got storms coming this weekend. Like it's just, how do you put together I think because the Cowboys game is in the afternoon.
The afternoon is the big win. I mean, I guess Kansas City's in the 1. That's weird. I'm surprised Kansas City is in the 1 p.m. slot.
So how do you even start thinking about a team, right? Because everyone also is going to have this same idea. Now CeeDee Lamb is back. We'll talk about that. But it's like, how do we even start to process this slate? Like, I know people are going to stack the Cowboys game, right, in some form or fashion, whether they play a different quarterback or whatever, and they play Bill or they play Javonte or they play, if they play Dak or Jaden Daniels, we can like try to manipulate that. But it's not. There's nothing sneaky about the Cowboys Commanders game, and then there's nothing sneaky about Rashee Rice at 5,600 on DraftKings coming back. Right. So like, how do we even start to think about the slate from a tournament perspective when everyone's doing the exact same thing?
Yeah, no, this is a just, from the quarterback position starting point of where we'll be getting to. But like Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes are pulling 40% probably combined ownership across most formats. And obviously, rightfully so. Jaden Daniels actually ran pretty well against the Bears, like looked like he didn't have the knee brace, but he's still a little limited. And then obviously Mahomes against the Raiders, where you're getting the first game of the Chiefs being, the full cast of weapons, like is, all sales go pretty much for them. But for me, like, I think when it's a slate where everybody's paying up at quarterback, I usually am just trying to find any reason to be paying down at quarterback because that position, it doesn't, like, if Jaden Daniels goes for 40, yeah, I'm screwed. But if Jaden Daniels goes for 26, I can compete with that. I can make up the difference somewhere else. And that's where this slate, like the cheap quarterbacks there's a few that, I like in particular, just that jumped out because, I mean, we've seen it multiple times throughout his young career. Bo Nix against a bad team, like, blows them out of the water a lot. And all of a sudden he's got 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. And you're like, a sub 8%, sub 6% Bo Nix outscores Jaden Daniels, even if Jaden Daniels is having that, good game perspective. So it's like, this is the first slate. I think we last week we kind of had it, but then the chalk absolutely smashed. So it didn't matter. Yep. This is the first slate. I think that chalk is a little bit more fragile than maybe, or not fragile, but there's a reason to change your lineup and actually get different this week. And it feels like, oh, this is a good spot. And obviously I say that now until Jaden Daniels has 45 points against the Cowboys, but you can also get pieces of that game, and the pathways to Jaden Daniels and Dak Prescott failing is pretty, like, you can still manage to get their guys that score the points for them.
Totally. Let's look at some of that ownership, like you were talking about specifically at the quarterback position. So, this is like, I also would be completely and utterly shocked, right, if I don't agree with this as an example.
Yeah. Dak will be higher.
Dak is going to be up. Dak is going to be up here. Now, how does that
probably flip with Herbert?
Yeah, right. I think Dak is in this Herbert, Caleb, Mahomes tier. Everybody, Jaden Daniels is for sure the top quarterback. I don't think that is even debatable. He's 6,900. He's Jaden Daniels, as you mentioned. He's running fine, right? 10 rush attempts for 52 yards. It was a lot of scrambling, but that's fine, right?
That's what you want.
Totally fine. We want him doing that. He's going to do insane damage scrambling, especially against the Cowboys. I think I agree with you, and I promise we'll talk about quarterbacks and stuff too, guys. But how I like to think about it is it sucks a little bit more with Daniels specifically because the legs are such a part of like his projection, is finding a way, like you said, okay, if everybody's going to pay, right, you see the top of the screen, 6,900, 7K, Caleb 58, okay, Dak 6,500. Is there a way to pay down or just take a different alternative route? And now you can still play Pickens or CD or Bill or McLaurin, right? Or Ertz or Ferg or whatever, and still like stack that game, but without the quarterback, and like build an alternative route to, that's like, look, it's not just all the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are clearly going to put up a good score because you've used the pass catchers, right? Or you've used the guys in that game. But like Daniels runs for 24 yards and no touchdowns. Right. And obviously you're hoping Dak doesn't run for a touchdown. And you just soak up all of the goodness out of the game without needing the 20, like you said, 24, 25. Like, that's great, but it's not like earth shattering at $7,000 on DraftKings. So how do you find the guy that scores 25 or 30 at a cheaper price? And then you find the guy also that he's throwing his touchdowns to. Right. And you get this double whammy where you're like, I don't want to go in and say, oh, let's just X out the guys from the Dallas game. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that. There's probably ways to play it that makes sense. But how can I play it to where I can soak up the points from the only game with a 50 million total, and then find the like other spot, like you said, a Bo Nix or whatever, that just like majorly outperforms, right? Bo Nix throws for 303 and runs a touchdown. 2 of them go to Cortland Sutton or whatever. And you soaked up all that. You got your 30 plus. And then you also got all the goodness from the Cowboys game. Cause that's just not right. That's just not really how people build. And it's not how the Sims spit things out. If you look at the sim super quick, what I do think was interesting about I ran just like 20 small field medium variance lineups in sim labs over on RotoGrinders, and what is interesting is the top one is actually Mahomes. So we can talk about him next, but then you're still, as you see, you're still always getting like something from that game. The second one is Daniels to Debo with CD as a bring back. The next one is CD with, I think there was somebody else with Ertz, right, as a bring back. It's like there's always pieces of that game. There's a bunch of Bill actually in that game. We'll talk about him too. But it's like you see even like the Sims are still like finding ways to fit pieces of that game. So it's easy to say like, oh, I'm just going to, fade that game or whatever and be super contrarian, and maybe it fails. And it's like, I don't know that we have to go that far, but I do think quarterback is one of the best ways to sort of differentiate, because it's really easy for the other guys to like hang in there. And like, all you really need them to do, or just Bo Nix, just hang in there, buddy. Just hang in there with those guys. And it's fine.
He's done it plenty of time. Like he's the quarterback that every time he plays like a good defense, he just all of a sudden just is really bad. And anytime he goes up against like these very, very putrid defenses, he's usually really good. Obviously, I know against the Jets, they didn't perform, but also London, weird games. They always are. They're always one of the stranger performances. And when it comes to like the Giants in particular, like I don't think their corners are as good as the Jets. I don't know if you watched or saw any of the stuff with Jarvis Brownlee from the Titans. He got a lot of snaps in that game against the Broncos, and he was a very, very good man coverage corner that didn't fit what the Titans were doing. Mm-hmm. The Giants on their side, Paulson Adebo has been getting beat pretty much all year. If you watch back to that Eagles game, AJ Brown on the pick six, or one of the picks that went far for Jalen Hurts, wide open.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. Look, Jalen Hurts has forgotten more about playing quarterback than I'll ever know. I just don't know what. Right? So he read blitz, which is fine. Or I think I hope
it's cover zero. Yeah.
I hope he read blitz, but I just don't know why the speed out to Jahan Dotson is like, okay, zero. That's where we're going. Like, you have three other dudes, specifically AJ Brown, that like that ball should be going to. And so it's like those little things, like I'm glad you bring it up, because like those little things that like mask, like the result of the play is like, oh my God, like it feels bad for Jalen Hurts, but an interception, right? When really, like if the play went how it should go, you're like, oh look, AJ Brown touchdown, and this looks worse for the Giants, and it looks better for passing games now facing the Giants. It's like this trickle down effect of all these things that we don't realize now, all simply because Jalen Hurts made the wrong read.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly where it's like, Cortland Sutton is obviously one of the reasons I don't mind Bo Nix. He's pretty good against man coverage, gets a ton of targets. The other person I think is a fun way to play Bo Nix to get the salary, you need. Marvin Mims, all like against man coverage, all he does is get deep targets. That's what he is. That's who he is as a player. Like I liked him coming out of Oklahoma because I thought he could develop into something cool. Obviously, they're not really caring to develop him. They're simply screens and goes, buddy, and figure it out. So like the only team on this list that, obviously the Jets do play man coverage, but again, he got 4 targets. The Bengals also play a decent amount of man coverage, and all of a sudden he has 20, and it's because he won deep in that specific game. That's like you play a Bo Nix, Marvin Mims, and then all of a sudden you're getting CeeDee Lamb and Krosky Merritt, and then you're getting Rashee Rice, and you don't need to run back that one, but you're able to get to the environment without having to be like the field. Like the field is going to stick to that. And then obviously like I said, Jalen Hurts, 67 Jalen Hurts, if his ownership drops, I'll be intrigued. Like I know it's Brian Flores' defense, but it's also a potential shootout. like the Eagles defense, if Jalen Carter doesn't go out again, they are just not the same team whatsoever. Obviously, I know he's got to heal that. He said he didn't play because of the turf at MetLife, which nor here nor there. But if he's not able to go out there, then you're looking at the Vikings O-line is awful, but they don't have to block Jalen Carter. The Eagles corners are atrocious right now. Like they cannot figure out their corner 2 position. Cooper DeJean's too slow to play on the perimeter. And then obviously the Vikings love going 3 wide receiver sets, especially with Jordan Addison back. Mm-hmm. That's a game that the point total is not there, but if Jalen Carter doesn't play, I think that could shoot out. It's about, I think getting different at quarterback is probably the key for me on this particular slate. I don't know how you.
Which is funny because normally it's not real. Normally you're just like, nobody's really getting that popular at quarterback, right? And like the prices are all about the same. And okay, I played the 11% guy instead of the 8% guy. Like who really cares? But on this one, it does feel like, because it's another like trickle down effect, right? Of lineups, not players. When someone plugs in this quarterback, what their lineup is doing is going to be like it's this story, right? If this, then that, right? There, it's like these different stories. So how do we like go wildly against that story? One of my I don't even know if he's playing anymore, but the DFS username Whistles Go Woo. He came in years ago, right? And like had not played DFS before, but he's just like a really smart, math guy and number guy, and came in and was just like all the like rules that we use as DFS players, where he was just like why? He's like playing guys against his defense. He's stacking like quarterback, running back, tight end, and like just like playing. And we joke about like double tight end as like a short slate strategy or whatever. Like because the game has been around for so long, we developed all these rules, right? Where we're like, okay, on these slates, I do this, right? If I play this quarterback, I do this, right? I want to play three workhorse running backs in cash and like, right? You do all this. And those are not wrong. Those are not like wrong. It's just that it's predictable. And the whole thing about this game is we're playing against other people. I'm trying to beat you. You're trying to beat me. We're trying to beat the guys in the chat, right? And he came in and he was just like, I'm still going to play all the good plays or whatever. I'm just going to put my stuff together differently. And that's what this slate feels like to me, is like, I still want to play that chalky game. I still want to play Rashee Rice. I still want to play whatever, right? But how do I like put these pieces together in this sort of funky way that's like, look, I'm not doing anything profound. I just move the chess pieces around in a different order than somebody else did, right? And so I think it actually sort of starts at quarterback, oddly enough. What do you think about Kai is mentioning Caleb? Because he is 5,800. It is the New Orleans Saints, and that has been a pretty good spot. It is in Chicago. I do just want to pull this up super quickly. It's a good segue into our good buddy Kevin Roth at RotoGrinders, chief meteorologist of DFS, has up already the weather report for Sunday. And so I only thought of this because we have a family get together thing on Saturday, and we're trying to plan around the fact that it is going to like storm like a mother here, like bad storms.
That's wild.
And so Cleveland, Chicago, so like Midwest stuff is getting impacted, and that is one of the two games I think that we need to note from a weather perspective. It's only Thursday, right? Check back in on Sunday. Roth will update this and just listen to him. Don't listen to me. But it is important, right? When I think about a quarterback, or frankly, two quarterbacks that I don't love, a lingering shower isn't out of the question. Sustained winds at 15 miles an hour with gusts of 30. Spencer Rattler versus Caleb Williams doesn't make me very excited with that weather forecast. So while I agree I like the price, I'm a little bit worried about that. And then the other one that could have some potential, like totally gross, super, super gross, but maybe score some fantasy points, is Miami and Cleveland. I think somebody mentioned, Dylan Gabriel. Dean in the chat mentioned Dylan Gabriel. Oh. That's a similar issue, right? Is that their rain, wind, etc. in Cleveland. So just something to keep in mind that I wanted to bring up as we were talking about there. But let's just pretend the weather holds for Caleb specifically. What do you think about Caleb and the Bears in that Saints matchup?
If the weather, if the weather is decent enough, like as long as Roth doesn't put that orange. If he puts the orange, I can't. If it's a yellow, I can die on the sword. That's by my decision. I would really like Caleb Williams, because if you watch back that Patriots Saints game, Drake May won incredible. Love everything that Josh McDaniels is doing.
I played him and didn't sniff cashing. It was awful.
Oh, because you probably didn't have Dowdle, because that's what you needed. That guy just ruins everything.
And I had Puka.
God. That's terrible. I mean, bro, their red zone offense, don't get me started with how bad it is. But
I also played Devontae, and so I thought, like, okay, Puka goes out. This sucks, but like maybe he'll come back, and maybe Devontae will catch like 8 balls while Puka's in the locker room, right? And we'll like, oh, maybe, you're wish casting this, but I'm like, no, it was just all bad. It was all everything was bad.
They can't. Their red zone offense is atrocious. It's just really, really awful right now. But with Caleb, like, you get Rome Odunze, which is the person you just go to. Like them two, I think, are a necessity. Like when playing Caleb Williams because it's just clear he's the main guy in this offense. I think the second option is so intriguing, and I'm still going with Colson Loveland. I still love Colson Loveland. I know the Zacchaeus and Luther Burden debate is such a fun one because the Zacchaeus dropped the pass, and Luther Burden was good when he was out there. And it's like, I mean, people drop passes all the time until it's like a complete flip in usage. I'm going to just stay away from the situation. I don't really want to buy into it unless it's a small slate. But with Colson Loveland, he played more snaps than Cole Kmet this past week. Like, it wasn't a significant amount, but he was out there more frequently from a route running perspective than Cole Kmet, and he's just been like targeted when he's out there. He doesn't play a ton of snaps, but he gets targeted when he's out there. And when it comes to the Saints, I think their safeties are the matchup you want to exploit. You want the player matchup on the safety, and Colson Loveland is someone you can target down the field. I think back to like Diggs' slot fade that he ran that pushed off. That was a big play. I think back to that play, and I'm like, you could use Colson Loveland to do that. And obviously, it's a weird matchup, but the safeties of the Saints are just getting beat over the top. It's happening. DeMario Douglas is doing it. Kashawn Boutte did it. Diggs did it multiple times. Multiple phantom flags that kind of killed it. But it is intriguing. It's just, again, 30-mile-an-hour winds or anything crazy, then you can't really throw the ball that far down the field. And I don't want to play DeAndre Swift because the Saints' run defense is actually pretty good. They're still pretty good. They were good last week and good this week. And then on the Saints side of things, I can't get to Rattler. I'm just never. I don't know if I have the ability to click Rattler's name into my lineup, even though he's good. He's been fine. Like, not good. He's been fine.
Taysom. It's just Taysom coming back is it just neuters. It's multiple guys, right? I mean, Taysom scored last week.
I forgot about that.
It's just like, I mean, he didn't do shit for fantasy, but he scored a touchdown, and it's like that. Just it sounds crazy because like, oh, one touchdown. Like, of course, Rattler's not going to get every touchdown, but it's like you want the third or the second and goal from the 4 or whatever to be a Rattler play, not a Taysom Hill designed run, right? It just takes. There's only so you're only going to run 60 plays. Spencer Rattler's not that freaking good. So like you need all of those touchdowns that he could possibly get to land in his lap. And it's just like Taysom and Kendre's emerging and Kamara's still annoying. And it's just, there's just a lot going on with the Saints and like road Rattler in bad weather. Doesn't sound super awesome. I did just want to note, like, if you look at that Saints defense, if you look for the folks watching. And so like, this is, you can see like what we would call a pass funnel. They are a pass funnel. They're actually in the top, what is that, 7, 6, 7th best run defense so far this year. Like better, like statistically matching the Broncos as a run defense.
Wow.
Like these things are, up and down. It's 6 games or 5 games or whatever for some teams. But it's their performance to date, right? It's not accounting for matchup. But like they're also been playing they're having some tougher matchups, the Saints have, and they're getting gashed through the air and they're stuffing the run. And so it is a good Bears passing spot. And that's a pretty good way, I think, to pivot again. But we need Mother Nature to like, if it's raining with 30-mile-an-hour winds, like I'm sorry. Caleb is going to struggle enough.
I can't do that.
Caleb is going to struggle enough to hit that, because also what you saw last week, it was big play after big play after big play, right? Pop Douglas had 2 long touchdowns. Well, the second one got called back. But Pop Douglas had 2 long touchdowns, right? Kashawn Boutte has 2 long touchdowns. It's like, that's great. That's what we want. And Caleb will throw that. He don't care. He threw that deep ball to Rome and into damn near triple coverage. It was definitely double coverage. And I was just like, look, I appreciate you. Part of me loves when the quarterback's like, that's my guy. I'm going to give him a shot to go make a play. But that one was just like, the whole time it's in the air, I'm like, Rome, bat it down. You're like, Rome, this is going to get intercepted. Please bat this ball down. Like, it's like, there's a level of like, you got to give a little bit of a fuck, right? It's like, I like that you didn't give a fuck. Here's my guy. But like, we need a little, like just a little, give a little fuck. So it's interesting. I'm keeping tabs on Caleb and the Bears. I will say we'll get to it at wide receiver. DJ Moore went to the hospital after that
Oh
game.
yeah, yes, I forgot about that.
So I do think that's where I like my ears perked
Luther.
up about Burden. Yeah.
Forgot
Let's just
about
do it.
that one.
Let's just do it really quickly because this is sorted by yards per route run amongst all wide receivers with at least 10 targets this season. For folks listening on the audio, it's a funny list at the top, by the way. Here's the top 5 wide receivers in yards per route run this season. Now, there's a huge caveat for Burden, but let's not let facts get in the way of fun. JSN is number 1. JSN is at 4.43 yards per route run with no goddamn help on the offense, and everyone knows he's getting the ball. It's absolutely insane what he's doing. Puka Nacua is doing insane things at 3.42 despite getting hurt and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why he came back. Third in the NFL, Luther Burden, 3.13. Now, he caught the trick play touchdown, the double pass touchdown, which is like a little bit fluky, but still he's been solid. And if he does, right, I believe in his talent. And if he does step into the DJ, more routes from DJ Moore, I think he's an interesting way. He's kind of like, he would be like the Marvin Mims, right? Play Caleb with Burden, play Bo Nix with Marvin Mims, try to hit the home run on a cheap guy, and then go get your Cowboys and stuff.
Yeah, no, he would Man, if DJ Moore doesn't play, I would be wild. He's also on the trade block too, supposedly. Yeah. Every week, every rumor. The Steelers are supposedly interested in another wide receiver. We'll see if that one happens.
Dude, the wide receiver trade block stuff is crazy. It's like the Giants supposedly want, like a real
they want Waddle or Olave.
Waddle. Yeah, exactly. Olave, Waddle, DJ Moore, Jacoby Myers. I'm sure I'm missing some other guys. All these guys are, on the trade block. We'll see if they get traded, but it'd be huge, huge, earth-shattering changes if some of those guys move. Maybe not Jacoby Myers, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure anything matters with the Raiders and Jacoby Myers. But any other quarterbacks that we want to talk about here? Because I'm not trying. I guess we should talk about Mahomes, but it's thin, man. Like this slate is really thin.
I mean, going back to the well is weird, but also, I don't know, a sub 5% owned quarterback against the Jets. I don't love it. I don't love Bryce Young by any stretch of the imagination. But he can run, and he's been an efficient passer. We do not want to throw. That is the only thing that is a problem. And then on the other side, I mean, Justin Fields, yes, the Broncos dominated them, and yes, the Panthers has been a good run defense, but he is a scrambling quarterback, and we do not have a pass rush. The Panthers pass rush is non-existent. It doesn't matter if we're good against the run. We can't get after the quarterback whatsoever. But other than that, I mean, it's definitely very, very thin down here.
It's really interesting. Justin Fields, the big problem, if Garrett Wilson was playing, how much higher owned do you think Justin Fields would be if Garrett Wilson was playing? Do you think it would make a huge difference in ownership?
I don't think the world would be able to get the last game out of their head. They had negative 10 net passing yards. I don't know if I don't know if the field would be able to get over it, no matter who touted it and how much they touted it. It would just be dude, he had negative 55 sack yards and 45 passing yards. It's just not the thing, but we'll see. We'll see what
it is interesting. I don't know if it's actionable, but it's certainly interesting that just 2 weeks ago, the Cowboys and Jets played, and Justin Fields at basically this same price is 40%. Dude, I played him in some smaller field stuff, and literally 40% owned quarterback. Yeah. And then it's not just the one bad game, right? He was bad in the Cowboys game too. Yes. One bad game essentially, and then Garrett Wilson going down, and we've been playing guys against the Panthers. I think it's the correct reaction is to move away from Justin Fields in this spot and to react a little bit to the Panthers being a little bit more competent than we thought. The fact that both of these teams, I bet the under as soon as the total came out on this game, I bet the under because I saw Garrett Wilson go down. Not that he would have changed it, but I'm not sure how many passes are attempted in this game. What's the over-under on pass attempts in Jets Panthers? 40. It's in the 40s, right?
I don't know.
Can they get 39 and a half?
Bryce Young could, theoretically, if we're running the ball with success, we could throw the ball 18 times.
That's what I'm saying. And the Jets don't want to, and the Jets aren't going to have success.
Yeah,
not without Wilson.
Yeah, that might not be that. Yeah, that is really gross. I mean, I also when the first came out, I'm mad at myself because I'm only in Florida, so I can't. Hard Rock's the only thing I have.
Yeah.
The Jets were favorites. I'm sitting here and I can only bet $10 on anything, which is on me, but they were favorites, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I should go get a hard ticket. Like I should this is
drive.
But
yep.
Yeah, it's close. It's like literally a 15-minute drive for me, but I just decided to stay away. It just like as a Panthers fan, I just can't do it. I should have told somebody about it because the line moved 4 points, 5 points. Once Garrett Wilson actual news came out, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's finally the Panthers are respected. Took Garrett Wilson to be her, and then everybody realized like maybe this team's fine.
They're not bad. They're not. Yeah. They're really not bad. Yeah. But yeah, this one might be over in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, but I guess we should talk to Mahomes because so with Mahomes in particular, the one thing I'm having issue with is, can the Raiders actually give them any sort of fight to like care like in this game? Because like Detroit, that's a team you don't let up on. Obviously he goes for 30. Jacksonville, same thing. Baltimore, at the time, you still had Lamar on the other side, and also Ravens defense, weirdly kind of worse than the Raiders.
It is worse.
It's just sounds gross to say out loud. But and also the thing with Rashee Rice that I'm hesitant on. It's not that I don't like him in this game. It's that he is coming off an ACL. And receivers in their first year back from ACLs normally do not perform well. But I also, the counter to my argument and myself is his role isn't playing receiver. His role is basically playing running back in the slot and just catching the ball 3 yards down the field. Right. And figuring out how to get 8.
Debo or the Debo Shakir hybrid type stuff.
It's like, I'm going to catch the ball 7 yards down the field here, and I'm going to run drags, curls, and outs. I'm not running any goes. I'm not trying to, explode, like just go fat, like, and it's tough, but I can't play Mahomes with $100 cheaper Jaden Daniels. There's no realm where I'm like, Mahomes gets pushed to go for 30 while Jaden Daniels is playing the Cowboys.
That's my biggest struggle too, is, I mean, I see it with Mahomes. I think Dak gets up here, like I said, in like maybe pull some ownership from Mahomes. Maybe Mahomes' ownership actually doesn't lower because maybe Caleb loses some if the weather, right? But we'll see what happens. The weather's going to impact some of that. It's just so difficult to see against a competent Chiefs defense this version of the Raiders making this game really fun. And so it, like we talked earlier, like I want to find something that makes me different in my build. And like, this is not that, right? Mahomes Rashee is not that. Like even like Mahomes worthy or something is not like, is it doing just pivoting within Mahomes stacks is not going to be something that like massively sets you apart from the field. And so I really want to have some level of confidence like I do in Cowboys games and frankly Commanders games, because their pass defense is horrid as well. That's a big, right? It's not just the Cowboys, it's the Commanders pass defense as well is really nice to attack. So like, I agree with you. I think Mahomes is going to have a good game, right? Like I have him in a,
just don't get 30.
Yeah, I have him in a guillotine league that I'm very excited to continue to have Patrick Mahomes, right? I drafted some of him in best ball. Like, cool. Like, keep having good games. I just don't think I see the scenario in which, right? But I guess someone would say, why can't they win 35-7 and Mahomes just accounts for all of it?
Yeah.
Right. Is what someone would say. That would be the inverse of what we're talking about, because they do have the highest pass rate over expected in the entire league. I believe they passed the Chargers. It's tricky, right? It's that kind of balance of, it's going to be popular. You're playing into a popular quarterback, but then probably popular stacks as well. It's an expensive quarterback, so that leads you to certain roster constructions that other people are doing. And then you have the like, okay, well, what if Pacheco and Hunt both steal touchdowns. It's like it's RIP to Mahomes in DFS. But the flip side is, what if Mahomes just goes for 305 or whatever? and it doesn't matter if the Raiders push him.
Yeah. No, that's the obviously the counter. I also think Geno's good for turnover. Like if I don't play Mahomes, I'm very intrigued with Kansas City's defense, because that's like an easy path. It's also good defense against a very, 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 very bad offense this upcoming week.
So a good comment from LED. I don't use the smash number a ton for Justin Fields. I should use it for Justin Fields, but he's higher from like a ceiling perspective is what this number would basically indicate. Like how often is he going nuts? That's just like the Justin Fields. That's every week with Justin Fields, is like he's probably going nuts more often than his price and ownership dictate, which is a good thing, which should probably mean you play him. If you're multi-entering, you should probably have some exposure to Justin Fields. And I do think Mason Taylor is a pretty good stacking partner with him. But I'm more of a 1 to 3 to 5 lineup type guy, and I struggle to get to Fields in that scenario.
Yeah.
What about Dylan Gabriel? Again, let's say weather holds up for Caleb. Dylan Gabriel gets the Dolphins defense. Ignore the 52 pass attempts or whatever it was from last week. That's bad, actually. I know it seems like it should be a good thing. That's very bad. Dylan Gabriel throwing 52 pass attempts is actually bad.
Yeah.
We want some more efficiency and some actual big plays, but you want to talk about cheap. You want to talk about doing something with a different roster build. Where the heck is he?
He's 44. He's
4,400 and 2% owned down there with Jacoby Brissett and Carson Wentz. Good Lord. But he did throw a lot. He's not like a complete zero. Well, he wasn't in college, right? A complete zero from a rushing perspective.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are really bad. Is there any way you can get to a Gabriel fan in stack? I don't know about Jerry Jeudy, but Gabriel fan in stack or something?
I just won't go that far. Like I am fine with the cheap. I think Bo Nix is probably where I truly draw the line. Obviously I'll know how I feel on Sunday. I technically was a part of Dylan Gabriel's recruitment to UCF back in the day. Yeah, to help recruit him. Also Parker Navarro, who's at Ohio now, that's balling. They were two guys. Like I was required to cut up quarterbacks, so Dylan Gabriel was one of the guys that I cut up and found.
That's cool.
And is wild.
When I played 5 years. So I redshirted my freshman year. In my 5th year, I had already graduated, and so you have to take a requisite number of like credit hours, and they gave me an internship, if you will, that counted for credit hours, and that's what I did. I went in once a week and caught up recruiting film. I was still playing, so I'm familiar with not with NFL quarterbacks, but I'm familiar with I did play against Alex Tanney is offensive coordinator for the Giants. I forget where he's at now, but he won the D3 like Heisman. He was in my conference, and he's worked his way all the way up. That dude was that's truly insane. Got a cup of coffee in the NFL. So
that is
cool,
wild.
Cool to see.
South Florida was a wild. I will say, growing up,
imagine.
Well, like the Calvin Ridley story about like his childhood and everything. Like I was like, my family was part of the people taking him to games and stuff for the Coconut Creek Eagles.
Amazing.
Like I've been the receiving core we had in high school: Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley, Riley Ridley, which is Calvin's brother. We had Sean Burgess-Beckers, who went D1. We had Greg Russo was on our JV team at the time. We never won a playoff game in our state playoffs. Never got past the first round because we kept playing Sante Samuel Jr., Devin Bush. They had 18 players. This high school Flanagan, they ended up winning a state that year. They had 18 players go to either FSU or Michigan.
Good
and It's just so I learned pretty quick. I stopped playing football when I was like 15 or 14 because I was like, I know this. This is different, and I don't want any of this. It's crazy. So, but yeah, no. Dylan Gabriel was freaking it. Dylan Gabriel high school film was awesome because they freaking threw the ball 70 times. But I'm not playing him in this one. Harold Fannin, fine. I'm just gonna play Quinshon Judkins. If you've watched the Dolphins this year, just play the running back. Does not like the Chargers O-line was manhandling Dolphins with Kamani Vidal. I don't care that Quinshon had a drop in touches last week. It does not matter to me. Dude was getting 20 plus touches basically every week when he returned. I'm just gonna play Quinshon in that game and just keep going.
Perfect segue. We both very much like Knicks. We'll talk some more about that when we get to wide receiver. Perfect segue into the running back position. Let's just look at the highest owned stuff because I agree. There's a couple things that stood out to me on this slate, and the first is that I don't agree with the ownership. I don't agree with. I don't even think that it's not that I don't agree that that's what the ownership is going to be, though. That is true. It's that I definitely do not agree who should be the highest. I don't even think these top three guys at all should be the highest owned running backs of the slate. I think you mentioned Judkins. I think Bill. I think JT. I think Josh Jacobs, right? I think those guys are just straight up better than the Breece Hall, Devon Achane, Javonte. I don't think this is a good spot for Javonte. I think this is more similar to last week from a Cowboys cook through the air, and Javonte's just whatever. If he scores a touchdown, sure. Right? Devon Achane. This is the antithesis of last week's matchup for Achane, because we'll talk about that in a second, where the Chargers run defense has fucking collapsed. I don't know what it's at. I'm not super familiar with their upfront personnel, but the run defense has collapsed over the course of the last 2 weeks. They've gotten absolutely gashed 2 weeks in a row. So probably wheels up Jonathan Taylor. And then Breece is fine, but the Panthers' run defense is pretty solid. You know than anyone. And again, there's going to be so few plays in this game. And I don't see how Breece can just be efficient when you need some form of passing threat, even with Justin Fields in the backfield, to perform efficiently as a running back. And I just don't see it with Breece. I understand the price is fine, but no thanks, man. Javonte and co couldn't get going against Carolina. A lot of running backs haven't gotten going. I don't foresee the Jets offense getting going and Breece Hall getting going in this spot. So I like this, though, to our problem about how do we make teams with all the guys we like that are really popular, because I think running back is another spot where you play the Bo Nix thing and then move down this running back list a little bit, and it's sure, dude, play into the chalk in the Cowboys game, because you've already built a very unique team.
Yeah, the Panthers, just starting off that point, obviously, we shut down Dallas's run game, and shutting down Miami, I was they kind of suck anyways. They're, they don't have a good run game. But this past weekend, it's Devon Achane breaks 2 40-yard touchdowns against the Chargers. Oh, maybe, wait a minute. And then watching just the Dallas game, and just we manhandled that offensive line that hasn't been, they've been dominating against everybody. There's not a team in the NFL that they haven't been able to be efficient against on the run game. And the Panthers are getting back one of their best run stuffers. The guy that we actually paid in the offseason is Tershawn Wharton. So I think the run defense is going to get better. And the flip of roles in our linebackers, I've pointed it out. I don't know, the PFF grades. PFF grades are the talking point of the town. But regardless of what you think about them, the PFF grades of our linebackers average to 25 or 28 in the first 4 weeks of the season. They flipped roles. They're averaging 70 because both of them are just way better at playing the other job from the beginning of the year. So if Breece Hall is that, I will not have a single lineup. I might touch that speed or that price if he was, I don't know, Saquon's ownership at 10%.
Right.
I would consider it, because you're volume could just carry you there. Like you get 28 touches because Garrett Wilson's not playing. Maybe, but 28%? No. I'm not touching that at all. Jonathan Taylor is really interesting because you're right. The Chargers, it's weird because it stems from the trade of Gilman.
Yeah.
They traded Gilman, who was playing a ton of snaps for them, and got Odofe, or the edge rusher from the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens defense all of a sudden figured it out against the Rams, and this defense is just like gashed in the run game. That is really, it's intriguing because it's like, how do you avoid the 7K and 6'9" Jaden Daniels being great? Oh, playing an 8'8" Jonathan Taylor into your lineup. Like that is a pay up at running back and avoid the top options at quarterback.
And they were not awesome, right? They've had a couple. If you on Pro Football Reference, for anybody, this is free. Anybody can look at this. They were not awesome in like a couple of weeks, but it was like, a little bit fluky here and there, some big runs. I think RJ Harvey had a big one in this one, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Mahomes was running a bunch in the first one. It wasn't like your standard run defense. And then these last two, if you see here, Washington, let's look at what old Bill did, right? Because Chris Rodriguez actually made this look worse. Chris Rodriguez had 5 carries for 7 yards. Jaden Daniels had 8 carries for 39. Bill had 14 carries for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it was a long of 27. It wasn't like he ripped an 85-yarder where you're like, okay, maybe that influenced things. It was just complete and utter 10, 12, 15, 20 every single time. And then, as you said, okay, it's Washington with Daniels and Bill, right? That's a pretty good Cliff is a pretty good, run game designer. Well, the Dolphins are not that. And they just reinvigorated Devon Achane to the tune of 16 carries for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. And again, he had a 49-yarder, but it wasn't like, again, he didn't rip off like the 75-yarder or anything like that. I look, that's not my area of expertise, but I also know it when I see it, and it was bad. They were getting wrecked in the run game by the Dolphins. And so I think, as you mentioned, JT is one of those guys. He's not like low owned, but I don't know that people are right. If you're going to go get Mahomes and you're going to get CD Pickens, whatever, Terry Bill, whatever you're going to get, Brees, Achane, I think JT becomes one of the better tournament plays of the slate. The Colts are just good on offense, and this might be just like a really good matchup that doesn't seem like a really good matchup at face value.
No, yeah, I completely agree. I'm looking through the ownership. It's also interesting. The Panthers, I'm not gonna touch. I don't care like what anybody tells me. We're just as a backfield.
Chuba's gonna be back, right? He returned yesterday to practice.
Weird, yeah. The Panthers are weirdly getting like 5 starters back, I think, this week, or like 4. Like
I'm still gonna bet them. What's the
it's like -2 in that right now, I think. I think they're only 2 point. I think the line might be -2. -1.5.
1.5.
Jesus. That's just...
still 42.5. That's just a criminally high number. I'm sorry. 42.5. There's been games with like 35 totals this year. The London game was like 36.5. Why the fuck is Panthers Jets 42.5? If that game is it? Why is the Broncos game low? Why is Broncos Jets like a touchdown lower than Panthers Jets? I don't really get it. But I guess it's just a lack of respect for the Panthers defense that I think is like not as bad as the market thinks. Anyway.
Yeah. But I think that the Panthers backfield will shift 50-50. I think that backfield, Javonte Williams, I'll also mention that like I think he's still very good. However, the Commanders' run defense has been good most of this season. They're one of the better teams but they've also had some lapses here and there, but regardless, they've been one of the better run defenses according to EPA per rush. The Chargers, I will also mention that their yards before contact in the last since week 3, I think this data is pulled from 2.3 yards, which is the second worst in the NFL. If you allow Jaden or Jonathan Taylor to get to your second level,
night.
that is when Jonathan Taylor has the 200-yard types of game. So I will definitely be trying to get more of him. Josh Jacobs is a running back that I don't know if I could play at 7-8.
Yeah.
It feels like Javonte Williams, but like a fancy Javonte Williams, where like you have to get there with multiple rushing touchdowns. And look, I think he caught a touchdown last week. But yes, he did it against Cincy and Dallas. Cincy averages they're the worst before contact. Dallas is the third worst before contact. The Cardinals, shockingly, are better than the Buccaneers and rate with the Broncos at yards before contact, and similar to, Detroit, which Jacobs had 14 against. Like, it feels like that's the type of performance we're getting there.
Yeah, look at the yards per carry in the three match. Like, look at the comparison.
Yeah,
in the yards per carry and the fantasy output, right? You could just see he's a front runner, dude. He needs these matchups against these absolute bottom feeding run defenses and overall defense, which is fine. I would too, right? Like the tough matchups are the tough matchups, but there's only so many guys that can overcome them, and I just don't. I don't really think that he is.
Saquon's an interesting one this week.
I think I love Saquon. I have not played him yet this year, and I think I might.
Yeah, that was the one that I like when I first went to did the walkthrough. It's like he's 7-7, and that's a hard price. Jonathan Taylor's 8-8. I obviously am getting to him with these, or want to get to him, but the Vikings defense is so hit or miss when it comes to defending the run. They are either the worst team in football, it feels like, or the best run defense in football. And you look through their game log, and it showcases that. Like Bijan, I think, ran nuts against them, but then they completely shut down the next team that they played. If I'm remembering correctly.
Was that Cincy?
Cincy was the week before. Or it was week after. You're right. Yeah, because that's when JJ McCarthy got benched. I mean, hurt, depending on how you look at it. Yeah,
Atlanta. I remember. Atlanta shoved it down their throat, right? Yeah. And body bagged them. Yeah,
Kenneth Gainwell did too. Kenneth Gainwell body bagged him into well, and then Quinshawn did like average. It didn't feel good. Like he was good, but it wasn't great. I think it was more of
23 for 110.
Oh
man.
No, he had Jesus. I didn't realize he had 100 yards. It didn't feel good. I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering the game wrong. Maybe we were on the show.
Probably.
I was watching because
it was Carson Wentz against Dylan Gabriel, and you wanted to throw up for watching.
But yeah, no, they're a defense that actually has been gashed more than I remembered, to be honest. I just remember
they shut down Jake Browning and Chase Brown. That's it. The rest of them have been poor run defense performances.
And Kenneth Gainwell scored 30. So that's I spot started Gainwell in fantasy because I have Jaylen Warren, so I had the backup randomly. Don't know why, but just got the spot started. It was really cool. It was a really cool time for everybody. He had 19 he had 99 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then freaking 6 for 35. Saquon might also be in a great spot the more I'm talking about it.
Yep.
Ashton Genty's not in a good spot. I don't care how many touches he's getting.
No.
No doubt. Nothing else on that top tier. I mean, we touched on all of them, but like Saquon and JT are my two favorites by a big margin.
Right, and so you want to build a different team, right? Right. If everybody's going to go get Mahomes and Daniels and whatever, play some form of cheap. Right, play the Mims, play the Burden, and now if DJ Moore misses, Burden is not going to be sneaky, but play something like that, and then jam these superstar running. Like this slate is peak 2025 DFS. It's time to play this one like it's 2015 DFS, right? Jam them in. Shout out Al Smizzle, right? Team jam them in. Treat JT and I almost said Le'Veon. Treat Saquon and JT like Le'Veon and David Johnson. You remember those days where it was like, all right, I don't care what do I got to do to fit Le'Veon and David Johnson because they're scoring 30 every single week. It's just a matter of do they score 30 or 45, and like obviously JT and Saquon are not that, but dude. Like it does also feel like from a straight narrative perspective, which by the way, we're 1 for 1 on narratives on the season. David Montgomery was a nice hit on narrative street. Saquon's whining. about running the football, right? If you've heard his quotes, he's whining about, well, sometimes, I don't care if the defense is, this is what we do type boomer stuff. Saquon's very boomer. But it does feel like after a couple losses, a pretty embarrassing loss, quite frankly, on Thursday Night Football to the New York Giants, it does feel a little bit like against an exploitable run defense, also against you've seen, right, like the stats of like a Todd Bowles defense against Jalen Hurts, because he just, right, he's the 12-year-old playing Madden that just goes engage every single time against you, but Hurts can't figure it out, right? Yeah. Hurts is the 12-year-old on the other side that doesn't know how to read a blitz. It's like that. Do you think Brian Flores isn't like licking his chops to also do that? But the problem with that is when you have a bad run defense, right? Saquon's already theoretically going to be efficient. Now you get him through, right? You run blitz them. Good fucking luck if you don't make that tackle at the line of scrimmage on Saquon Barkley. He's gone, and your safety ain't tackling him in the open field. So there's like home run hitting potential for Saquon, that's the thing that's missing from him this year. Is he hasn't hit his single home run.
Yeah, no, more I'm talking into it. Also 10% owned. Definitely the flip the build perspective, and definitely the 2015. And like the rest of the running backs on the slate, like I have no interest in Genti. Dowdle I have no interest because of Chuba coming back. I think this week Dowdle will be 60-40 on Chuba, but going forward, I think they're going to alternate drives. Like there's no reason these two shouldn't just play every other.
Chuba's good too. Chuba's good too.
So, did you see the Mack truck that the graphic that someone created with Rico Dowdle? First off, Xavier Legette, love what I've seen from him as a player. Just it's not fantasy good. Obviously not everything's built about it. He took the D end of Dallas and put him on the opposite side of the field. Opposite hash. He blocked him all the way to the opposite hash. And that resulted in our guard being able to pull and get to the linebacker. And then I think Tet was on the outside, blocked out. And the size of the gap was pretty much the size of like a 16-wheeler that Rico Dowdle just got to run through. And I'm sitting there just like, this is awesome. Like, I mean, Dallas's run defense is atrocious, but our run blocking is just, we're mauling teams. And it's insane. Nash Jijam was the one who was blocking the linebacker on that play. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, if Xavier Legette's going to block like that and Jalen Coker becomes a person again, I said the Panthers would win 10 games before the season. The Jaguars and Patriots were kind of mandatory wins for me.
Yeah.
And then the Jaguars and Patriots were good. I learned, that hurts, but it
both
feels
4 wins
better. Yeah. The only game that I'm like sitting here is the one I went to in Arizona, but we might actually win 10 games because the Bills don't know how to stop the run either. And that's a game now that's winnable, which feels weird.
Yep.
But let's get to the next tier of running backs, because I don't know what to do with Cam Scatterboo. He's interesting.
I was just going to say it's a really bad spot for Scatterboo, but you can't really dream up a better role than Cam Scatterboo.
And 2%. I feel like the ownership will come change. If he's coming in under 2, I'm going to get a share. I'm gonna, like slam him, but like Breece Hall and him are no different.
Right. It's just the perception of the matchup is and I'm not going to sit here and say the Panthers are the Broncos defense because they're not. But from a run defense perspective, I do think it's a lot tougher matchup for Breece than people think. But it is a very tough matchup for Cam Scatterboo. But like so was the Eagles, right? Yeah. The Eagles matchup wasn't good for Cam Scatterboo. But when you get 20 plus touches and you catch the ball and you get the goal line carries, like you can score 30 on just about anybody. They're a competent offense. I can't fucking believe it. The no Malik Neighbors rookie quarterback. I wasn't that high on Jackson Dart. I kind of thought, and I still sort of think it's a little bit of a circus show. That's like I'm not entirely sure that he can win a Super Bowl or whatever. Like the way that he plays quarterback, I think it's a little not gimmicky, but he'll probably get hurt at some point. But he's much better than I thought that he would be. And what he's really good for is he's like Justin Fields for running backs, like Jaden Daniels for running backs. Like just the threat of him, right? The zone read, all the stuff for Scatterboo is so big because Scatterboo's not exactly that explosive. I mean, he's explosive as an athlete, but not as like he runs a fucking 4.8 40 or whatever. So to hold the backside is important for Cam Scatterboo to get through some of these holes. And I don't know. I just think it's a good spot to play some of these types of guys, right? Play Saquon, play Cam Scatterbo, play because these high owned running backs are not that good. I don't think that they're anything special. This is not Jordan Mason against the Bengals at home with Jake Browning on the other side. They're like fine, but like I don't know. I think Judkins is just a straight up better play than Breece Hall, right? Like what's the difference between Cam Scatterbo and Javonte Williams? I don't really see it. You know what I mean? So like, why would I play into the ownership at the running back position when these guys lower down the board are just as good? We didn't talk about Bill. Are you interested in playing like Bill's from a sim perspective was simming really well. He's in the top lineup. He's in a bunch of the top sim lineups because again, people are playing the Jaden Daniels side of things, you can play the Bill side of things. He did sort of take the backfield. Obviously, McNichols playing long down and distance and third downs and stuff, but took over sort of the lead back duties. Chris Rodriguez didn't get a touch last week.
Yeah, no, Bill's definitely super intriguing. Bill and Quinchon are probably the way that teams are getting, like, you know, like people are probably not afraid to play Quinn or Bill with Jaden Daniels nowadays. It feels like probably, I think that's one of the top sim lines that you have there. And then in particular, like just Dallas's run defense is just, they're like, I thought the first few weeks they were fine, but it turns out Saquon just can't really run against anybody. So him having the game he had is like whatever now. Jack Sanborn, I think, is a big key piece to them stopping the run, and he's been hurt because he's not a good cover linebacker, but he's a good run stuffer. So I don't know if the injury report, if he's going to chance to get back, but even if he does, Jaden Daniels is going to cause havoc for the run game because you have to respect him. Like it's like the Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson. Like Gus Edwards is always efficient, and that's just because any running back playing with Lamar Jackson is going to be efficient. And then you got Derrick Henry, and he becomes the best running back in football for a little bit at 31. Shocker. That's that effect. But Bill's a great play. I can't really argue against him. Quinchon is a phenomenal one as well. The Saints running backs with Taysom now is just a annoyance because I want to play them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play Alvin Kamara this week. Like I want to. I don't know if I have the ability to because one, they may trade him. That could also be the lessening of touches. Like that is not, always a sign, but he went from 20 touches a game to 14. And it wasn't like, oh, he's bad. It's like, no, the teams are playing are blowing them out, and it's just unfortunate. And it's not like Kendre's that efficient.
He's playing solid. Like Kendre's been like good from a real life perspective, but Kendre is just good enough, and he might be part of the future. And Alvin Kamara is not a part of the future. And this team obviously isn't going anywhere. It's a new coaching staff, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
right? And
the Bears' run defense is atrocious.
Terrible.
They weren't even good against the Commanders. It's just they kept fumbling because of the weather. Mm-hmm.
I bet Bill over. I got destroyed in the sports betting streets last week. I bet Bill overs, and it's like I make plenty of mistakes, but that one I'm just like even what was was it him that fumbled or who?
He fumbled.
Yeah, he fumbled at and I'm like, just everything that could possibly go wrong is going wrong here, and the guy still gets within like 2 yards or whatever of his prop. But yeah, I think the Bears' run defense is something we should continue to attack. I just with the Saints, I don't know.
If I was 150, I would be way overweight on Kamara. I'd probably be like 15%.
Yeah,
but building 3 entries and stuff.
What about the opposite side? We talked a little bit about, I don't know if Bree, if you were here. But the Saints have been a really pronounced pass funnel, meaning the run defense has been really stout and the pass defense has been really bad. That's part of why you saw Drake May just go nuts and through the air against them and really get nothing from Ramondre and Travion. Now, DeAndre Swift's greatest attribute is that of a receiver. So maybe some of that gets a little bit muted, and he did catch a touchdown this past week. His touchdown was through the air. Is that correct? Yeah. He broke he broke the tackle along the sideline and ran down the sideline for a long receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't love it because I don't think he's going to be efficient on the ground, and then you have the weather aspects and all that kind of stuff. But he is fairly cheap. They're going to score some points, and he's not going to be super popular. So there's worse plays at running back.
In like in the 5K tier, he's my favorite. But I think with the way the field is building, I'm going to be sticking with Quinchon plus the combination of Saquon, JT. I mean, if I could jam 3, I mean, Ja'Cory as well. Those 3, like I'll probably be sticking to those 4 this particular week. Definitely like him over J.K. Dobbins or Kamani Vidal. If Kamani Vidal is going to get ownership, I don't care that he got 21 touches against Miami, or 21 opportunities with targets plus yards. He did it, but I think the way that I watched that game, it was like, hey, who's hot? Like, we're going to play them both. We're going to figure it out. We're going to go with who's better. And against the Colts, I don't think they're going to get any better, like, because the Dolphins are they're just not good against the run. Like, the Colts have been fine. Like, they haven't been this earth-shattering run defense so far, from a yards per 4 contact perspective. But since week 3, they've only allowed 3.9 yards per carry. They haven't been, Dolphins. Yeah, the Dolphins are up there. That's why
worst, almost double second worst from a EP, like doubly bad is essentially what I'm trying to say. The second worst run defense, not just like doubly bad the average team, doubly bad the second worst, which is the Bills, which we've all watched, the Ravens, which we've all watched. These are bad run defenses, and they're significantly worse. The Dolphins are. So I think now, look, Rico Dowdle did this where I was like, I think it was a lot about the Dolphins matchup, and now maybe he's not going to do it, and he dunked all over me. It's certainly possible that Kamani Vidal does it again, but I think there's a lot more uncertainty around his role than there was about Rico Dowdle's role. And then this is not moving from the Dolphins to the Cowboys. This is moving from the Dolphins to what's been a solid, like perfectly solid, like above league average run defense in the Colts. It's not infallible, but they've been solid. So I just don't. I would rather do J.K. Dobbins against the Giants. I'm not excited for him, but if I'm going into that tier, that's where like. Right. If I'm not doing Swift or I'm not doing whoever else we talked about, Bill or whatever, I think it would be J.K. Dobbins for me, but he's still not a priority either.
I think RJ Harvey is just that tough thing of like, he could just eventually get the touches. Like eventually, like everybody's complaining right now because that's what we have to do in the sports world is you draft an old running back and you don't give them all the touches. And it's like, they beat the Eagles, man. I don't know. Yep. Like they're 4-2. Like give it till after the bye week. Like every other rookie ever, pretty much that isn't 5'9", that
right.
Get the workhorse role. But I can't play any of the Patriots running backs. I'm refusing myself from them. And Pacheco's not horrible. I've done worse, but I'm not going to do it. It's a pathway for the Chiefs to not get there, but he's just still been really, really bad at football.
He's not very good. The role's getting better, ever so slightly. It's just still not good enough, and the matchup is pretty bad from a run defense perspective. Yeah, Bree, we're very interested in the Bears. 2 things I would make sure to keep note of if you weren't listening before. Check the weather on Sunday in that game. Google NFL weather, go to RotoGrinders to our good friend Kevin Roth. He will update on the weather because it's right now it's pretty sketchy across really the Midwest, but it's sketchy in Chicago. And as we said, a Caleb versus Spencer Rattler game in the rain with 30-mile-an-hour winds doesn't scream GPP winner to me. So check that, and then check DJ Moore did not practice yesterday. He came back in that game, but then went to the hospital after the game to get his groin and stuff checked out. That seems weird to me, but kind of everything about DJ Moore right now is very weird. So just check that out. But another good segue. Let's segue into wide receiver, and we talked a little bit about it, but we got to talk about Rashee Rice. His return, obviously, from his suspension. We haven't seen him in a long time off of an serious knee injury, and only 5,600 against the Vegas Raiders with this terrible pass defense. What do we do? Do we poke holes in this? Do we just play it? Do we do the Well, you can play him on teams where it makes sense, and you fade him on teams where it doesn't. Like, how do we approach Rashee Rice?
So the way I'm going to approach it is he's not going to be the first player I plug in to any lineup. I'm going to talk about the way in my head. I'm going to be going through like, all right, is this a lineup that is unique enough that I can just plug in a Rashee Rice? Because that is where it starts, where the Raiders are bad against the slot. Rashee Rice he is coming off the ACL. And like I said, some receivers don't come back the same way. His role is the first receiver where I'm like, I don't know if I care. Like, he's not a Chris Olave, where Chris Olave, or he tore his ACL for any reason. If he wins down the field, he wins 14 yards, actually making a cut to come back to the ball, different things. Rashee Rice doesn't. That's not who he is. And, I don't respect Rashee Rice as a top threat at receiver, but for DFS, he's a really good one. And I'll play it. I'm not jamming it. Also, Chris Olave at 27%. I can't imagine that happens with that weather. That's just not the case. But to me, worthy. Like, he becomes so intriguing on this slate as the pivot of like, oh, big play. like he's not very good so far. He's been decent, but if he's getting taken out of what Rashee Rice's role is, because he gets a little bit of it, and Juju's been taking that as well. But now Rashee Rice just gets all of that, and now Xavier Worthy gets to go be Tyquan Thornton, which is gross to say out loud, but he becomes this. If I'm playing Mahomes, I'm playing Worthy with Rice, probably.
Yeah, but look at what Tyquan Thornton has been doing. If Xavier Worthy is better than this in this role and earns more targets, right now I know he had the 9 target.
Yeah,
game.
but like he could have that type of game, but
why can't he have this? Right, exactly. Why can't he have this, but he converts another one and this becomes 30?
Yeah.
Right. Why can't these 9 targets go to Worthy, and instead of shitty Tyquan, right, he actually converts them? Now, I'm not even saying that he's better than I'm just saying there is a scenario in which, like you said, we kind of move these pieces around, and Rashee gets his 14, right? He goes 7 for 70. So you even get the volume that you're hoping for, right? But he doesn't score, and Worthy hits and why doesn't he score? Because Worthy hits a couple of big plays, right? They do some bullshit Noah Gray thing at the goal line or whatever, right? And it's just what the Chiefs do. Like, if no matter how good Rashee Rice is in this game, if he doesn't score a touchdown, like, I'm not sure that you're gonna get home. Like, because is he gonna catch 9 for 110 in his first game back? Like, I don't know. Like, he probably needs to score a touchdown. Like, he can be awesome, of course, and I expect him to have a good game. But I'm just thinking about like, why can't Worthy have the 100-yard 2 touchdown game that like Rashee's kind of being projected for?
Why is Rashee Rice going to get 100% of the snaps?
Right.
Like, why?
They didn't say he's going to play every play. They said like we're going to give him a bunch of work. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and again, he's obviously like, some people are different. Some athletes are specimens that can just do it. But again, he is still coming off a significant injury. I understand not playing him. It's pretty much where my head's at. Like, I will just, if I'm just building a lineup and I'm like, oh, we got a 5,600 receiver, I'll play it. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to, he's better than, let me just make sure before I speak out of turn there. I think he's better than every 5,600 receiver. No, he's not. I lied. Diggs could be better than it.
I mean, AJ Brown is 5,800 too, which is kind of hilarious. Dude, the T-Mac is 6,400, Rome is 6,600, Debo is 6,200. Like, if you would have said before the season that these are the prices, right? Like, I guess you would have understood it with Rashee because he was suspended. But like, some of these prices are really, really funny in retrospect.
Yeah, no, that's
Diggs is a good call too.
We didn't talk about May. Just be better.
We didn't really talk about May at quarterback, and I think we probably should have. So we can just talk quickly about the Patriots passing game. I like as well in this one, and I think it's a pretty darn good bounce back spot for Stephon Diggs. Obviously, he was pretty popular, and he was on everybody's May stacks, and then he also was played as a one-off last week against the Saints, and then they just carved up the Saints so bad with everything. that it just really, you didn't have to feed Stephon Diggs. I don't know that this is that same type of spot for the Patriots passing defense, but maybe you are looking at it a little differently.
The difference between this week and last week is if you're the Patriots, they're just a good team now. So now it's not like, let's prove Drake May is good. It's all right, what do we need to do going forward? And this Titans team, like, I think they're gonna try to get the run game. Like this feels like the matchup where it's like, hey, we've been in Taylor Cates is a really good follow for Patriot Breakdowns. If anybody is on Twitter, I don't know his exact tag, but he's a Patriots beat writer. He asked a bunch of questions. Vrabel even shouted him out in a press conference, which is pretty sick. Really good follow. But he's pointed out the Patriots are this close to creating an explosive run play. They are not very far off. I'm talking like a technique on a block, just an inch away from, he tripped him up. If he gets through, he's gone. This is the week where I think that the Patriots, like, I don't want to play it because I can't justify it, but this is the week I think the Patriots run game gets going, and that's going to just kill kind of May in my head. Yeah. Like, also 6,300 for Drake May versus 6,900 for Jaden Daniels against the Cowboys, and then also my love for Bo Nix. It's like Bo Nix and Drake May are very similar.
Totally. So I like it. All right. So at the other top end of the receiver, we have the Rashee Rice thing. But again, as you mentioned, I don't want to do too much on Chris Olave. He gets a lot of targets. It's a gross game. It's fine, whatever. But I'm not really into Chris Olave, and I have played Chris Olave this year. Just not this is not the spot for me. But we should talk about Dallas and Washington. Terry McLaurin yesterday was limited, I believe, ? In practice, obviously missed. It's been a weird little roller coaster for Terry McLaurin. The other thing to know, obviously, you see CeeDee Lamb in the projections. I believe, statement from Brian Schottenheimer was something about like, if he's alive, he'll be playing or something like that. These guys with the hilarious quotes, but sounds like CeeDee's fine. He returned to practice yesterday. Again, now he's coming off a fairly serious ankle sprain. What does that mean? I don't know. My assumption, so long as you're not like returning, like you said, from a Rashee like long-term knee injury type deal, my assumption is like you practice on Wednesday, you're in there, you're good to go. He might not even be on the injury report. I just treat you as your CeeDee Lamb, right? That's how I tend to do it. So what do we think then about Washington with? I think Terry's going to play, and then we're pretty sure that CeeDee's going to play. It does, as exciting as that game is, it does introduce a little bit of sort of anarchy in the projection because we don't fully know. This isn't the Cowboys and Commanders we've seen for the last couple of weeks, right? It's this game is awesome, but it's a slightly new version of what we thought this game might be.
Terry would boost a ton for me. If you've watched Donovan Wilson try to cover, he spends more time looking at the ground than he does covering receivers. Ted McMillan just absolutely broke him. Deebo Samuel's not that route runner. Deebo Samuel is someone that I want where it's like, this team can't tackle, or this team is not going to, doesn't defend a drag route that goes. I think McLaurin in this situation, as long as he's good to go and up there, he becomes a much better play than Deebo Samuel to me. And then on the other side of things, I don't know how to treat Lamb versus Pickens because so Lamb is someone you can scheme up in the slot. That's what he has been lately. Against the Eagles, it was the way I watched that game. It kind of taught me a lot about where Dak was with these two, where it's like, we're just going to pick the matchup and we're going to let Dan Quinn decide. Dan Quinn's going to dictate how they decide to go about things, where it's like, are you going to bracket George Pickens and let CeeDee Lamb work the middle of the field? Or are you going to make sure you're leaving George Pickens one-on-one with Marshawn Lattimore, hoping they get into a fight and get ejected, and making sure CeeDee Lamb can't be the guy that beats you? I don't think I'll ever jam both of them in this slate. I think that they're two guys that, even in a Dak stack, I'm just not playing both of them. I can't see the pathway for both of them being optimal at their price tags. One of them most likely has the optimal-esque game, and that's going to probably come down to TD variance. And on the flip side, I think if you're playing Dak with them, or not flip side, but if you're playing Dak, you play one of them and you play Jake Ferguson, and you don't touch the Ryan Flournoys of the world. Don't even bother with any of them. If they throw the ball 40 times, Ferguson, Lamb, and Pickens are going to get 32 targets. Like that is what they're going to do on offense. But with Jane Daniels, I'll be playing Terry McLaurin because that is. You beat Dallas on the perimeter with a route running receiver, and he is that guy.
Yeah, that's it for many years, right?
Yes.
That's
and Dallas. I wonder what his Dallas splits are. Now I'm pretty sure his Dallas splits are insane.
Didn't he for sure cooked them like massively last year?
He cooks them all the time. I want to see his career splits on it.
Let's just look super quick. So here's the last Dallas game: 12 targets, eight for 62 and 1, 5 for 102 and 1, 6 for 56. Okay, so that was the Jaden Daniels season, right? So this is now pre Jaden Daniels. 11 targets, 4 for 50.
Okay, so he was with all the bad. Okay,
so he had some bad ones. The early days
Thanksgiving one
were bad.
No, not that one.
3. Ooh, damn, 2021 was rough.
7 for 92.
11 26. So
crap. That was the Thanksgiving game. I think I was just more. My brother's a Cowboys fan, so I think I was like, oh, and he had 7 for 90 earlier.
2020 was good. Yeah, what the hell happened in 2021? But anyway, he's Jesus, his second NFL game. My God, I forgot how good he was when he first started
in the NFL. That's Brian Hartline. That's Ohio State.
I know. Look at
they're the best at creating the
season. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm with you. I also think he's an interesting one where the ownership. There's just like no way I think that the ownership runs away from us on this. He's priced right next to Rashee Rice, a little bit more than Chris Olave, a little bit more than Stephon Diggs. Next to AJ Brown. His own teammate is projecting to be more popular. Right, because we have a little more certainty about Debo, and Debo's aside from last game, right, which was really bad. Debo's had a really nice start to the season, but a lot of that has been without Terry McLaurin, some of it without Zach Ertz, right? Yeah. So, I think Terry is like the Saquon or JT. I know not like a price tier thing, but like the Saquon or JT of wide receiver. I feel like this week where they're not like low owned, but they're probably not. The ownership isn't correct either, when making them a really good tournament play.
Yeah, no, Terry again. It just out of the two, he stands out the most. That is the main. And if he doesn't suit up,
I guess that's a good thing to think about.
Chris Moore probably.
God,
I hate saying that out loud.
Can I? Luke McCaffrey. If I'm gonna prop up Luther Burden, I have to prop up the better McCaffrey brother, which is Luke McCaffrey. Again, of all wide receivers with at least 10 targets. Also, this dude just scores touchdowns every week. My God, I don't know what it is about. Now, I'm not saying that this is like a real thing, but I do believe in the young player continuing to grow. Now he's a second-year player, right? But continuing to grow based like stacking good performances. Can really help, right? The young player, like how could Luke McCaffrey take more from Chris Moore, and maybe Jalen Lane plays a little bit less. So Jalen Lane had the huge catch too. Like maybe he right. Like if there's no Terry, how does Luke McCaffrey or like Jalen Lane or something get more? It reminds me of I don't know if you saw the Trey Harris stuff from this past week. Like he only had like 4 for 27 or whatever. Yeah. But he led them in snaps, and it's a little bit of the Xavier Legette thing, like you were talking about. So he got the game ball. Trey Harris got the game ball from the coaches this past week. And they were like, he was doing everything right. He was a huge linchpin to our running game. He's blocking his ass off, right? He was just doing everything right. And we're so excited about him. Yeah. It's like that little shit. And like Luke McCaffrey being this good, 2.84 yards per route run, 4th in the entire NFL is just like, keep doing that, young fella. Right. And the next, but then the next thing, he's running 70% of the routes or whatever.
This is his 4th year playing receiver.
Right.
He was a quarterback in Kodak. Yeah, he was quarterback for Nebraska and Rice, and then they're just like, let's go to receiver, and he caught 13 touchdowns. It was wild.
Yeah, he was he was in the same class as Neighbors and Marv and those guys, and he was like 5th in yards per route run in like the sickest wide receiver class. Like BTJ was in that class. Like him and Malik Washington are the two, like who doesn't fit here amongst like the most. It was Marv, Neighbors, BTJ, and then like those two guys. And
Malik Washington's ability, if you ever go look at his Virginia highlights for any reason for fun, because that was a class that I wanted the Bills and the Chiefs to trade up to get Brian Thomas, because the way he runs routes fits perfectly to Mahomes and Allen at the time. But Malik Washington's ability to run an out and up is disgusting. I don't know why I know why. Miami doesn't have time to do it at all because they can't do it anyway. But his highlights in college are just out and ups, and corners bite so hard. Like, he allows corners to jump out routes. It's so funny just to catch a freaking 70-yard touchdown.
He's a yak god. So it's like he has a very hyper specific skill set, right?
Yeah.
But he's so good at that thing that he does. Yeah. He led college football in yards after the catch. And then, like you said, he uses that, right? It's like, we're going to pepper him on outs. We're going to pepper him on hitches. We're going to pepper him on drag routes. We're going to pepper him on screens, right? And so the defense is just constantly running. Every time Malik is involved, you're downhill to go make a tackle. And so it's like, run the out and up once a game. And it's like, it's a home run every single time. Anyway, I don't know how the hell we got onto any of that from Washington, Dallas, but I do think it's a linchpin of this. Check back for, of course, CD and Terry, actives and actives, all that kind of stuff. But I think we're both very much on board with specifically Terry, but of course a lot in this game. Let's talk about some of the other wide receivers. You talked about Bo Nix stacks, which I also very much like. I think this game is intriguing on both sides. Obviously, still it won't be anymore. Malik Washington, Darius Slayton hurt as well. We like Cam Scatteraboo, but if Bo Nix is going to have the success we kind of both think he's going to have, whether it's to Cortland Sutton or Marvin Mims or Troy Franklin or whatever, there's opportunity for Wandale. There's opportunity for Lil Jordan Humphrey or whatever. I think this game is like sneaky interesting, even though the Broncos defense is really good.
This is also narrative street right now. Demaryius Thomas is going to the Ring of Honor for the Broncos this weekend. They're going to honor that Super Bowl team. As a Panthers fan, I'm pretty sad about it. But as far as Cortland Sutton and Demaryius Thomas relationship is one of the ones that people probably don't. They're going to spotlight a lot this weekend. You're going to see a lot of it.
I didn't know.
Sutton and him were tight. Like that was the vet for Sutton when he came to the league. And Sutton, he's talked about like there's traditions that Demaryius was doing, and Sutton has continued said traditions with donuts being brought in on Friday from this specific.
There you go.
They like, he was a mentor, like true, legacy and everything. That's what he talks about. That's the donut thing where the little wing.
That's cool.
They have like an 88 on the practice field and everything. Yep. And Demaryius is just, again, this is a heavy man coverage team. He's the guy for Bo Nix when he sees man coverage. The other guys do it on big plays like your Marvin Mims. That's why I also absolutely love Demaryius. And the other thing is, every time Demaryius Thomas has gone a game where he doesn't get the target, or not Demaryius, Cortland Sutton has gone the game where he doesn't get targets, the next game Bo Nix just peppers him. Like, if you look at the last year, every game he's gotten 3 targets or 4. The next game he's getting 8 to like 13, 15. That's where this is like the game for him to go back to like 90 and a touchdown probably. Also narrative street with it, just from the Demaryius's passing and the mentorship and everything. Even last year, if you look, I think there was one game where he didn't get targeted. Yep. And next game, 11.
Like,
I'm gonna
right back
look. He got 4 targets in week 2. And it's like, nope. Next game, 11 targets. Like, he didn't perform, but he's giving. When he doesn't target him, the next week it's all of a sudden I'm giving him the ball as much as I can. I think that's going to be the case this weekend.
And we're spot on from this year too, right? A solid week 1 with nine targets, and then the Colts game, right? And we lose that game. Now they didn't lose to the Jets, but it probably feels like a fucking loss. Yeah, like they came away like, thank God we won, but fuck, like we got some stuff to work on, right? And so it's like, this isn't David Montgomery, but I don't know, man. It's like it's pretty darn close from like a variety of it's again, David Montgomery had the I'm going back to Cincinnati, and then he had his sister thing, right?
Yeah.
This is what Bo Nix does after down games for Cortland Sutton and after down games for the team. Yeah. And then you have the Demaryius Thomas aspect of the Cortland Sutton thing. So I'm full transparency. I'm a sucker for those things, but not like it's his birthday, right? Like I'm not interested in like the birthday, or like if David Montgomery had gone back to Cincinnati like 4 times in his career, like who, I don't fucking care. But I would be stunned if they don't feed Cortland Sutton the ball to some degree. What does that mean? I don't know, but I would be utterly shocked. And he's 5,900. So again, Rashee is 5,600. What is the fucking difference? Someone tell me what the difference between Rashee Rice and Cortland Sutton is. Both in good spots, both going to get fed the football, right? One is 4% and the other one is 24% or whatever. So
there's the other aspect of just like, first read target share from fantasy points. If you are into that, I know the guys that do the cut ups there. It's not exactly a perfect science, but Cortland Sutton's first read target share against man coverage this year is 34.5%. The Giants are one of the heaviest man coverage rate teams. This is pretty much, this is a higher first read target against man coverage than Jackson Smith and Jigba, which isn't, it's not as like significant as it should be, but like this is as high as George Pickens, similar to Amon-Ra. Like to me, it's like, this is the week that he's going to go for 100 in a touchdown. Giants, again, that A.J. Brown play is in my head, where it's like, that is the number one receiver on the Eagles, and he's wide open. They're giving him cover 0. And Bo Nix, like Sean Payton, that's going to be your, that is definitely the difference. That is like, if Cortland Sutton's going to stick that low, I'm going to be way more open to playing Jane Daniels. Like that is an easy, just, hey, this is the 4% receiver that's not Rashee Rice in this lineup. Like that is a simple way to get different.
I like it. Anything else in this game? You talked about Marvin. Is it for sure Mims over Franklin for you? If there were another Broncos wide receiver
for upside, yes, without a doubt.
If somebody wanted to double stack,
you double with Mims. I think Franklin is fine. I don't mind Franklin. I just think Mims is the bigger play guy.
Yeah.
And when Mims, if you look back at like Mims's career, when he gets man coverage, that's usually when Marvin Mims can make plays, because Sean Payton's like, oh, cool, we're doing this. Like this is the play where you're just gonna, the man in front of you, we're gonna get you in motion, and then you're turning upfield and you're just full speed. Yeah, just go. I think the Broncos game last year, I actually played. Well, the best ball teams that made it to the finale, I had Marvin Mims and like
the Bengals. Yeah, the Saturday night shootout. Yeah,
I did not have T. Higgins. I had in best ball again. I'm not this sharp best ball. I don't consider myself a best ball guy, but I take very hard stances. And last year, my hard stance was Jamar Chase. This year, my hard stance was Christian McCaffrey. I've been pretty good at the first round. So far, like I pick one guy. I had 46% Jamar Chase in my best ball portfolio. But he killed me in the final because I didn't have much T. Higgins.
Right. But it was awfully close. It was awfully close. The Mims bring back to the Burrow stacks last year was awesome. But it's a great comp actually to this, I think, spot. Where Sutton was good in that game, if I recall, too. And so again, like Bo Nix doubles are pretty interesting. I think I prefer Scat to Wandale on the other side. I just fear the Broncos overall. So
I don't even mind little Jordan Humphrey. Catch a jump ball.
Yeah.
He played 80%, dude. He started.
I bet Bo Collins overs, and I knew that was over from the beginning, where I was like, "Oh no, he's not." And then he fucked up. I think he dropped the ball, and it was like, "Okay, he go stand on the sideline." But the Jalen Hyatt, we're still doing Jalen Hyatt win sprints. But like, assuming Darius Slayton doesn't play, I think that there's stuff in this game. It doesn't feel like the crazy shootout or anything like Washington, but it doesn't need to be. No. Right? It doesn't need to be. And you can play Washington and Dallas guys alongside this, right? Like you could stack this game and still have like Terry, Bill, Ferg, Pickens or some shit like that. Like you could literally afford that right now. You're not going to get our JT and Saquon stuff as well at running back. So you have to decide between those two things. But that's what I'm talking about. You can easily build some different versions of this. You just have to be, cognizant of what you're doing when you're putting that lineup together.
Yeah.
Any other wide receivers? You mentioned the Philly, corners really struggling. JJ's been getting peppered with targets, though the quarterback situation is a little unfortunate. Addison as well. I mean, talk about low ownership. We're getting really low ownership on the Vikings. Let's see.
I mean, that Philly game is intriguing for like again, getting different. A Jefferson and Saquon mini is extremely different. And then also think back to the Dallas game. How did Philly treat Pickens and CeeDee Lamb? They let Quinion just shadow Pickens, aka Addison, and they attempted to bracket CeeDee Lamb with their guys. Obviously, Dak's not back there. The offense line's not there. But again, if Jalen Carter doesn't play, like Justin Jefferson having a 30-point game wouldn't surprise me. And again, another get different from CeeDee Lamb. Like, why can't Justin Jefferson outscore CeeDee Lamb off a high ankle sprain?
Right.
I don't know. Like, he's been pretty good with Carson Wentz. like
22 targets. 22
that's
targets.
With falling. That's with falling too. He should have had another touchdown in that game.
He's just really playing really, really good football players we often do the thing about like, do I pay up for this guy in a bad matchup? Right. Yeah. Like this isn't even a bad matchup.
Ooh.
Like it's not perfect, but it's not bad. Right. It's like, it's one of those things where paying up for the guys in like at least neutral matchups. And sometimes you can get them in good match. We might even consider this one good. It's like getting that is like the gold mine, right? Where it's like there's really no tangible reason why Justin Jefferson should be that much lower owned than XYZ player in other good spot, but just right the dynamics of the slate or the game totals or whatever. That's the stuff that I really like to latch onto. That's the Cortland Sutton thing, right? It's a great spot for Cortland Sutton, but nobody's going to play him. It's a pretty good spot for Justin Jefferson, and he's going to come. I would actually be honestly shocked at 12%. I think what we've seen a lot this year in the last couple of years is the ownership just like there'll be something within like the ownership that the Sims pick up on that like somebody comes in a little lighter and somebody comes in a little higher than we expect. But then there's also like a swaying of like you talked about the Justin Fields thing. Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson were projecting like 20% and they're 40.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, if they're 20%, I'm just playing them. And then everyone says that and they become 40. So I think JJ, especially if CD's fine and all that kind of stuff, I think JJ probably is. I would probably take under 10.
I would probably say he might be like under 6, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like because Pickens is still going to get the ownership in that stack as well.
Totally.
Like I think Pickens will come in more owned than Justin Jefferson.
And then Rasheed and Debo and McLaurin, there's 5 receivers, right? If Olave does really get played, right? If who am I missing at the top end? AJ Brown is 5,800 in this game. Like you only have so many spots for wide receivers. It's hard to get there from an ownership perspective with JJ. Anybody else that we need to touch on?
At the top, no. We talked about Indy. If Indy's corners are as banged up as they are, I'll take stabs at the trio. If Quentin's healthy.
QJ limited yesterday, I believe, in practice.
And they probably take the time with him, to be honest. Like I don't think they're in a big rush because they're playing great football, and like Trey Harris doing what he did.
Right.
He allows you to like, hey, get 100%. We're not going to play you at 90. There's no reason.
Yep.
We can figure it out. And also the offense lines. Yeah.
Not with the hamstring. It's not a ankle, like it's not a minor ankle sprain or something.
So that is interesting. I have no interest in the Indy receivers at all, but just the mini of like Keenan and Jonathan Taylor or Ladd and Jonathan Taylor. It's funny that like their prices haven't changed all that much, but their ownership every week is just going down. It's like we're not believing this anymore. This isn't fun.
And Ladd did it finally. He's finally doing stuff, and
it's
the price is barely going up. But nobody again. He's another one where it's like, why the hell can't Ladd McConkey drop another 26 or whatever? Like again, let's just pretend QJ doesn't play, and even if QJ does.
Yeah.
But like, why can't Ladd McConkey? Like you were drafting him in the second round all summer, right, of your fantasy drafts, and like a couple of bad games, and now he finally showed you why you drafted him, and everybody's like, no, I'm still not, like, no offense, Keenan, but like we're gonna keep playing Keenan Allen over Ladd McConkey, like hoping for 18, like you're hoping for your 18 Keenan Allen points, and it's like Ladd can drop 35, and again, right, people are gonna play AJ Brown. Like, what's the difference between AJ Brown and Ladd McConkey on this slate? Like, I don't. Like, I mean, I love AJ Brown. He's one of the best wide receivers on the planet, but Ladd's pretty fucking good too. It's just, this is one of those weird slates where there's going to be a certain level of ownership I think you eat in pretty much every lineup, but then there's so many good pivots, right? There's so like pick your favorite pivot among. That's why I don't feel the need to do the Gabriel thing or whatever, right? Because I can find all these other pivots.
Bo Nix will be my cheap quarterback this week.
Yeah, the more we've talked about it, I'm really
like you just go Bo Nix and Sutton and just you don't have to go to the Marvin Mims. You just stick there and then just play
into the Bo Nix.
Whatever good plays you want and maybe make one pivot somewhere else. But yeah, no other receivers that I think that stand out to me. Jefferson does have suspect QB play, but I will counter that. He has dropped over 20 back-to-back weeks with Carson Wentz. And quarterbacks, usually, once you keep throwing to a particular receiver, it goes well. And again, whoever is covering the second or the receiver, or whoever's Quinion is not covering, is going to just get fed targets in that particular game.
100%. Looking at the tight end position, we'll wrap tight end and just a couple of defense takes. Interestingly enough, I told you about how the construction stuff of like with whistles before. The top sim lineup is a double tight end lineup right now in Sim Labs on Roto Grinders with Michael Mayer and Tucker Kraft. I'm not sure that I would agree with that, but those are just the Erik brain sims, not the actual sims. Also would not necessarily agree with the Saints defense. But Tyler Warren, Michael Mayer, Tucker Kraft, Arondé Gadsden, right? You're seeing a bunch of these tight ends. A lot of tight end stuff going on here. Zach Ertz, but a lot of Michael Mayer, Arondé Gadsden, right? Again, I don't think the Gadsden thing is something I would. He did get a bunch of targets last week, but again, no QJ. A lot of Tucker Kraft, which, god damn it, that was so annoying last week. But a little bit surprising to see some of the stuff showing up in Sim Labs that I thought was interesting, because Travis Kelce is at the top of ownership, which I would be shocked, but maybe I'm just an idiot. I think the next couple guys are the guys that are going to be the most owned. Tucker Kraft, but Michael Mayer and Tyler Warren. I think it's hard for me to envision that the field doesn't just say, I don't know, this Tyler Warren thing keeps working, so we might as well just keep doing it.
Yeah, Tyler Warren's obviously great, but I think with my love for Jonathan Taylor, it's hard for me to play Warren. Ferguson is just the person who stands out the most to me, because if Dan Quinn, just from like the top pricing tight ends, if Dan Quinn chooses to play too high, like if he chooses, you're not going to beat me down the field, George Pickens, that just allows Jake Ferguson to just kill them underneath. That is where he would just have he had 10 catches and 60 yards because he's just the second coming of Jason Witten. He's obviously 5,500, which is nice, but if he catches a touchdown, he catches a touchdown. So he stands out to me. Tucker Kraft, the only thing I will counter Kraft with, the Cardinals have been good at defending inline tight ends. They've been bad at slot tight ends. They've not been bad against inline tight ends, and he just doesn't get slot work. He is the guy that they do off play action bootlegs, and Budda Baker, for whatever reason, covers those extremely well. Their defense, maybe might be the scheme thing, but they're a little different there. Travis Kelce at 4,700. I get the chalk. It's the name. Like, I think historically this is just something, and he's also done it. But it's like, so you're telling me Mahomes, Kelce, Rice is what I have to beat.
Yeah.
And it's like, give me Nix, Sutton, and Marvin Mims, and I'll figure out how to beat that. Like, I believe that's the easy way to play it.
Right. Or $800 more. Is Jake Ferguson in this game? We're all like foaming at the mouth to get exposure to, and Jake Ferguson has been better than he's not $2,000 more. He's $800 more. You know what I mean? Like the Kelce thing seems a little bit shocking to me, because it's also not just like, is Kelce going to have a good game? Sure, whatever, right? But it's like, I don't know, man. His peak is 19 points on 8 touches without Rashid. And from where do we win? Where do we get the football? They're a little bit more duplicative than like Worthy and Taekwon and whatever. So like I don't know. I'm not sure like there's going to be. I don't think for one of the first weeks there's going to be anything like super runaway in terms of ownership at the tight end position. But again, that's all the more reason to like, why play the one guy who's 15% when he's not like that big of a standout at the position.
Yeah. And they'll also say it's gross, but like if you're playing Bo Nix, you could stack him with Evan Ingram.
He finally did some stuff.
Yeah, he had a little bit of stuff. Last 2 weeks, he had 13 against Philly. He found the end zone. You got to find.
Oh yeah, he caught a touchdown. Yeah.
You got to eat, dude. Catching touchdowns. That's it. Harold Fanning is really interesting as well, just because like the Dolphins, if you watch them cover anything as well, like they can't cover tight ends. Why isn't Hunter Henry more expensive? Oh no, I guess he hasn't been doing that good lately. I was just looking across like the cheat because if Kelce and Tucker Kraft are going to be 6% of the ownership, and then the next gap is basically Michael Mayer, the 36 from TJ Hawkinson to basically Darren Waller, all interesting. All of that is just Darren Waller obviously is probably not as interesting, but like Hunter Henry against Tennessee, that could work. Evan Ingram against the Giants, that could work. Harold Fannon's just, I know he threw it 52 times, but they give him carries. Like
David Njoku got, it's more to me, I know he got 10 targets, but like you said, it was 52 pass attempts. So the target number isn't as interesting to me as the fact that David Njoku got hurt, came back in the game and got hurt again. And now he's banged up this week. Yeah,
I think if obviously David Njoku gets ruled out, then I think Michael Mayer's ownership goes bye-bye.
Right. It goes to Fannin.
It goes.
One of Mayer or Fannin is going to be popular, and it just kind of depends on the Njoku status, I think.
Yeah. And Zach Ertz, really interesting in that range too. Like, I don't know if I'm going to play. I don't think I play Kelce or Kraft this week. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like if Kraft. I liked Kraft last week, and they just missed on a few, which was frustrating. But he also didn't pull the trigger on 2 of them, and I'm like, oh, dude, just please throw it.
Love was so annoying. Love was so annoying. Like it was fine. They played fine and scored a bunch of points, but it was frustrating in how it happened. Yeah. As a Kraft backer.
Also, like someone brought up earlier, Mason Taylor.
Yeah, where
34. No, why is Michael Mayer better than Mason Taylor?
Right. No Justin Fields. Well, there basically hasn't been Justin Fields the last couple of weeks. But no Garrett Wilson. Like we're joking, semi-joking about how little pass attempts are going to be in this game. But like, how the hell is he not going to get some? I mean, he just had 12 targets a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, the Denver game was a disaster. But like, it's Denver. They're really good. And that game, like sometimes the games just happen and you're like, just throw that shit in the trash, man, and move remove that from your brain.
Too. Mm-hmm. It was a terrible, terrible London game. So it's I don't think I go past that. I think that's the cheapest I would go. I wouldn't go any. I'm not playing Gadsden. No. I can't. He had 12 against Miami because Miami's really bad, which is why I like Harold Fannin. I think that is kind of my counter to that. Jatavion is back for Carolina. I don't think he's going to play much. Because Coker is going to be in the slot. Mitchell Evans has earned the right to play for this team. Like,
didn't he catch the first pass of the first pass they threw was Mitchell Evans? I remember.
Yeah, I think He is an incredible blocker. He's not very good as a pass catcher. He catches touchdowns. He's got soft hands. He figures it out. But, he also had 7 against Miami because Lord forbid. Like, they're just so bad at defending everything. But yeah, no, I'll probably stick to the chalk this week at tight end feels like it's going to flip. I feel gross. Like maybe Kelsey doesn't, but how Warren? Why? Still frustrating. Why is he not getting played?
I know.
The Sims are going to push him up, right?
I think so. I definitely think so. If he projects as the highest scorer, I think. No, McBride. So 5,200 and projecting almost as good as the highest scorer on the slate, but you are 4th in ownership, right? Like that's Sims' feeding ground is like, I can easily fit $5,200 at tight end, and he's awesome. So I think Warren comes in reasonably owned. The one kind of spend up guy we didn't talk about is Trey McBride. Is it just Packers too good, Cardinals too bad? I will just say Kyler should go take a Call of Duty break for a few weeks because Jacoby Brissett infused some life into that offense. And it was as a frequent Trey McBride drafter in you mentioned best ball season. I would like for Trey McBride to continue to get what he got from Jacoby Brissett, not the Kyler Murray bullshit.
No, yeah, I'm not going to get there. I don't hate people who get there. I understand it. Jacoby throws them to him. He doesn't care. Like he throw it to him targeted. Packers defense
isn't played well. Jacoby played well.
We got to get rid of that week 1 from the Packers because their defense is not as good as that week. They came out the gate firing against Detroit, but Detroit also didn't know what was going on their side as well. Like they didn't know how to run an offense. Did I lose you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Uh-oh. Erik might be losing internet. Uh-oh. Erik might have lost internet, or I lost internet. I don't think so. Erik has lost internet, so I will have to talk some tight ends here. The tight end position, other than, probably Ferguson, Ertz, stacking with Evan Ingram, I'm probably not playing much else this weekend. And then going to the defenses here while Erik tries to figure out. Goddard's fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. As far as Goddard, just the way he plays, like the way they've been using him has literally been the Philly special. Like they have, they have pretty much got away from the tush push and just, not Philly special, the tush push, and just pitched it to him, and he's figured out how to score in the end zone there. And then, so he's fine. I don't know if I'll get there because I like Saquon. That's probably my other counter. Like, I don't know how much I get of Saquon or Warren and Goddard because of liking Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley this weekend. Going to the defenses as we kind of wrap up here a little bit while Erik tries to figure out his internet. Yeah, the Chiefs at the top at the 3,700 price tag. I think they're really intriguing against the Raiders there. The Raiders defense or Raiders offense line's bad. Geno Smith's been bad. It's a pathway for Rashee Rice not to get there. Also, if the Chiefs are up 20 points here, why are they just going to pepper Rashee Rice? Packers against the Cardinals with Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett was decent in that game. Didn't play that awful. I don't think I love it. I don't hate it at the 3,600. There's a lot of intriguing defenses at the top compared to the bottom. Patriots defense against the Titans. I don't think I'll get there. I know Cam Ward's been really, really bad, but a new coach can really change things and simplify things. and then all of a sudden the turnovers aren't happening, and you're in a spot where Patriots can't game plan as much for that type of opponent. Chargers against the Colts, no interest. Daniel Jones has done really well. Eagles, if Jalen Carter plays, I don't mind the Eagles at Minnesota. That's a possibility. I think I personally would rather play the Vikings defense against Philly, just from Jalen Hurts and what he has been lately. Let me see what else in ownership wise. The Colts are coming in as a top owned defense. If their corners are not healthy, I have no interest. I know the Chargers are beat up on the O-line and the run game and different things, but I have no interest if the Colts O-line or if the Colts cornerback room is not healthy. Travarius Ward took a nasty hit this past weekend. Is the Bears D coordinator, the old D coordinator in New Orleans? The New Orleans DC is Staley, the old Chargers coach that was with the Rams. Matt Eberflus is with Dallas. So that is why Dallas's defense. The new Bears DC is the old Saints coach. Yes. Yes, actually, you said it right. My bad. I'm mixing that up. But let's see what else. The Saints against the Bears. Yeah, the Saints. I don't know if I want to play the Saints. They're not that intriguing to me at 2,300 against Caleb. I think Miami or doing like the Browns defense against Miami is something that I wouldn't mind if the weather holds up there. Commanders defense I can't play. I'm trying to think of any other ones. Panthers defense against the Jets is an interesting one. There's no real chalk at the defensive position this week, sadly. Doesn't look like there's going to be what you can call it. There's just going to be like a super chalky defense this week. It feels like I'll probably be a little bit spread at it. Erik is still there he is. This guy
Oh my
out
God.
here just talking
Well,
defenses here.
What a disaster. Well, at least we almost got finished. So yeah, I just lost my internet for anyone watching. That yeah, what a disaster this is. But thank you for continuing that. Did you wrap the defenses before I shut this shit show circus down?
I mean, I don't know what defenses you like, if you even know what defenses you would like, because the ownership on defense is not really strong. Like the Colts are the highest owned defense, and I hate that.
Right.
And I don't think
I
that's
agree.
like Colts Saints. That's just gross. I would rather play the Panthers against the Jets if Justin Fields, like no Garrett Wilson. And then I like the top, like Chiefs against the Raiders. Like, how does Rashee Rice fail? Packers against Jacoby Brissett. That's a possibility. Broncos against Jackson Dart. Like those are the top defenses. But
I was gonna say the other one. I agree 100% with your list. Also, two would be Browns against Tua
Miami,
and that
yeah.
that offensive line, and then Patriots against the Titans. I know the Titans have a new coach, and maybe that will solve some problems. But forgive me if I don't think Calvin Ridley got hurt.
Yeah.
Also, again, so it's I think that there's a lot of lower owned defenses to go to, so another spot to be different this week for sure.
Yep, but that is all we are going to cover. Erik,
Yes.
your internet
Yes.
hopefully gets fixed here soon.
Yes. For anyone that didn't know, this happened right before we went live, where I had no internet and I was scrambling around, and then of course we couldn't quite make it to the end before the internet went out. But I appreciate you filling in the gaps, and join both of us on Sunday mornings, every single Sunday morning on Roto Grinders at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can get our final takes over there, and we'll see you guys next week in week 8. Cheers.
See you guys.